Good morning. I am Kevin Price. Delighted to spend some time with you, talking to you about you and your business. And like we do on every Monday, we spend time with my friend Steve Beaman. He is with the Society for the Advancement of Financial Education, and excited about events we have coming up in August and October with chambers and tea parties and lots of neat stuff happening. And always just excited to get kind of an update of what's happening from him when it comes to the great work of the society. And let's just begin with that elevator speech. And just because of the nature of our segment today, kind of a panoramic overview of what's happening out there when it comes to the society.
Well, Kevin, good morning on a beautiful Monday, and I hope you and everyone had a wonderful 4th of July holiday. But as you and I have talked so often, America and many people, frankly, around the world just aren't educated in the financial and economic concepts they need to know to build a prosperous and independent life. And so the society was established to empower people with knowledge and tools they need to walk through life with better prosperity and understand how they, too, can live independently and free by building a financially prosperous life. So that's what the society is all about.
Yeah. And tell me a little bit about, where the recent developments that you had with your affiliations now with other organizations so that both organizations can multiply their efforts. Talk a little bit about that.
We are building a strategic alliance with Turning Point USA, which is a young person's organization really dedicated to helping young people get involved in the society at large. I think one of the things we deal with in America is this ignorance and apathy combination where people either just don't know what's going on, or if they do, they just don't care. And Turning Point is dedicated to waking up young people so they do begin to care about what's going on in their country. And together with the society, we think we can empower lots and lots of young people in that college age kind of range and help them to really step out and build a life. You know, if the administration is going to use college kids to sell Obamacare, we ought to use college kids to sell financial literacy.
Yeah, and rather than use, why don't we just empower them, huh?
Exactly.
Let's leave the using to the left. We'll actually empower them to actually know the difference. And what's interesting is I saw a great article recently over at usdailyreview.com, and support for Obama among young voters is actually plummeting at a breakneck pace. And the reason why is, after how many years do we need before we realize our situation is only getting worse every single year?
Well, the fact is, that salesmen, when they go out and they sell snake oil, eventually they're found out to be selling just that, snake oil. Yeah. And the idea that you can have everything for everybody with no cost on the other side is just naive, and it doesn't work. It never has and never will. So it's not a surprise young people are waking up. They're intelligent. They get it. But I did want to mention to you, this is the first announcement of a major show that we're doing, and this is a new show for us. We're going to do it in early September in Chicago. We're booking the venue right now. But, Kevin, we're talking about a massive stage show, and we're really, truly excited about it. We've got lighting people that are the best of the best in the world, stage production people, music people, and we're going to put on a show that just knocks people's socks off and at the same time teaches them what they need to know about economics and finance.
Awesome. And kind of go over that. You went over that pretty quickly. Kind of go over that a little bit again, the logistics, who, what, where, when, all that.
Yeah, we don't have the venue booked right now. We're looking in mid-September, maybe the 17th of September in Chicago. We'll be releasing more information on this as we go through the next month. But the idea is, as I've done before in different cities, we're going to put on a stage show, and we're going to bring people in, and we are going to truly entertain them. And during that entertainment, we're going to empower them and teach them what they didn't know they didn't know. So we think we're going to make great strides in moving America forward.
Wow, what a great idea. That'll be awesome. And I guess it'll become a prototype for future shows in other parts of the country.
That's exactly right. We're working with our new management team and the promoters to take this on a national show.
Yeah, including the great state of Texas.
Absolutely. We love those people down in Texas. I've got family down there, and my heart certainly resides just dead on with many of the folks down there.
Yeah, absolutely. No question about it. Again, talking to Steve Beaman. He's with the Society for the Advancement of Financial Education, great organization that I'm involved in as well. And the easiest way to find him probably is at stevebeamangroup.org. That's stevebeamangroup.org. And financial education, people really are crippled when it comes to this. It's just really extraordinary. There was, a cliche. The complaint for years about schools was was that schools taught people how to make a living but not how to live. Now they don't even teach you how to do either one.
That's a fact, and we're seeing that all over the country. You know, the educational system has just broken down in America, and that's not a political statement. That's a fact. You can look at it on virtually any statistics, whether it's math scores, science scores, English scores. American education is not working, and we're filling the gap by helping people understand money, because let's be realistic. Money, as it was said in It's a Wonderful Life, it comes in pretty handy down here, bub.
Yeah, it really does. What a great movie. And I'm going to remember that line. What was that, Clarence? It was Clarence that was told that.
It was our friend George Bailey talking to Clarence in the bar when they were trying to buy a drink.
Yeah, absolutely. They don't
have money in heaven, and George retorted with the fact that it does come in handy down here.
Great movie. One of my favorite movies, actually. And so, again, talking to Steve Beaman, talking about what's happening out there, and we're doing things a little different, although I get great feedback about us talking about what's happening on the current news. I thought we'd take a little more macro, maybe kind of a report card of what's happening with the administration in general. A lot of fear, existed back in November that among conservatives, at least. Obviously, the left was hoping that he would be even more hard left than he ended up being. But a lot of concern among those of more liberty-minded individuals that a second Obama administration term would be really more radical than the first term. But a lot of people as a group are surprised by how mild it's been, if you will, for the first couple of years. And they're thinking, is this because of the fact that he has to face a Congress that's not going to be cooperative, and he wants to come across a certain way in order to possibly win enough seats in the House to make a difference? Is this because he's just simply too distracted by scandals to even really grip down on that hardcore agenda we were expecting? Kind of talk a little bit about that.
Well, Kevin, I'd like to say three things as it comes to that. Number one, the radicalization of the policies, if you will, are coming to fruition, but they're using things like the EPA. So they're using the administrative controls they have to put further regulation on business across the board, be it small business regulation, the implementation of the Affordable Health Care Act implementation, or in the environmental area especially. They're coming down, and I think we saw Obama's speech last week on killing the coal industry and what he believes there. So I would say that the radicalization is taking place. But my second point, and I think you and I have talked about it, is that the scandals have just put the brakes on everything the administration wanted to do. You cannot really get any legislation through when the American people are so awakened to a dangerous tyranny that's developing within the mindset of the federal government. And then the third thing, to your point, is that with the election in 2014, I think Obama's original plan was to play it kind of close to the chest and then win that election, and then in the last 2 years, really with a complicit Congress, come out and do what he wanted. So I think these scandals have derailed that right now. We'll just hope that it continues to keep the American people awakened to what's going on.
Yeah, and and even then, I wonder how awake these people are. This guy should be really, really already. We should be doing full-scale Watergate-size type of hearings. I know that's hard to do when you have a divided Congress. Back in 1973 and 74, when the Watergate hearings began, you had Democrats controlling both houses of Congress. Makes it a lot easier to do those full-scale type of investigations. But I don't know. I just think Darrell Issa waits so long with everything that he does. The chairman of the House Oversight Committee, he waits so long with everything that he does. He can't help but come across extremely political.
I tend to agree with you, but the other dynamic is that back in Watergate, we had the catalytic event of the Vietnam War. And so you had energized millions of Americans, including the media, on an anti-Nixon type bent. And so to get the support for those hearings was extraordinarily easy. In today's world, as much as you and I can preach from the pulpit and tell people that we're on a dangerous path, most Americans don't feel it yet. And so they go about their daily lives. Yes, they're frustrated the gas prices are up and food prices are up, but they had their 4th of July barbecues and things are generally pretty good. So until we get some kind of an external event that really raises the red flag to that bulk of middle America, I think this guy's going to get a free pass.
Yeah, very, very sad. All right, talking to Steve Beaman. He's with the Society for the Advancement of Financial Education. When we get back, we're going to continue our talk. We're going to talk a little bit about some of the key areas. I kind of want to do a macro overview of foreign policy, economic policy, social policy, some really startling things going on with DOMA and that type of thing.
We'll get all this done in 20 minutes, right?
Yeah, well, we get a lot done pretty quick. We move fast. And so I want to encourage people to check out the Society's website at stevebeamangroup.org. Make sure you check that out. I am Kevin Price, talking to Steve Beaman. We'll have more for you right after this on The Price of Business.